And Chair, we have issue on the interpretation of agent of a foreigner and a foreigner. And Chair, we think that this definition should be harmonized with the existing anti-money laundering legislation to avoid ambiguity in reporting obligations by the accountable persons as specified in the Anti-Money Laundering Act. Chair, if the definition remains as it is, it's going to cause a lot of confusion, especially to those entities which has a mandate. And Chair, we have an opinion that there should be exemptions in terms of the entities which are operating in the country. Chair, we moved straight to clause 14. Most of our submission Chair, just something to add, which the Governor had explicitly submitted, but Chair, with your indulgence, I could maybe just highlight there are a few of them at the end. Chair, we think that this bill may create some unintended, which will be increased informality and illegal channels of financial inflows into the country, such as alternative value transfer systems, including the use of the hawalas, the virtual assets, and this may obstruct. Also been indicated that there are likely to be reduction in remittances by Uganda, and Chair, the mandate overlap, which may create institutional conflict during implementation. The accountable persons may consider such persons as high risk.
And a risk of voluntary SOX that could destabilize the macroeconomic environment. I would like to appreciate you for that. You have summarized this bill as far as the economy of this country is concerned. The proponent of this bill, they are looking at the political aspects, not emphasizing on the economic aspect of this country. Not knowing that the political impact may be less than 5%. The economic impact may be more than 95% when this bill is passed as it is. I would like to appreciate you for lecturing some of us. You must be a very good teacher, as I am also a teacher by profession. You know, there are other people who are supposed to be lectured. My colleague stated that many of our ministers and members of parliament are senior six leavers. That is true. That's the qualification. Therefore, we cannot blame some of us, and we invite some of you to keep on lecturing us so that when we are making the law, we must come up with the law that is perfect, Dr. Olanya, and help the country for many years to come.
Thank you.
Finally, Mr. Chairman, the governor asked you in his submission that he doesn't know when this bill will be signed. I would like to assure you, this bill, when passed today on the floor of Parliament, by tomorrow it will be signed. Because they are targeting few individuals as far as politics is concerned. They are naive in looking at the impact on the economy. Thank you.
But Honorable Gilbert Olanya.
Thank you.
No. Honorable colleagues.
Mr. Chair, that should be expunged.
I think that should be expunged from the record. Technical, the Honorable
the Bank of Uganda and Financial Intelligence Authority. I saw a statement by the IMF circulating online. I wonder if the Bank of Uganda may have any information as the ones that deal directly with the IMF as to when the IMF will come. But nonetheless, thank you very much for your presentation.
Honorable Anna Deke, IMF or World Bank?
Yeah. I meant IMF because I know the IMF has a desk in World Bank. And you know, as our chief financial, as the chief regulator, you also speak with World Bank. You're pretty much saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing that also the Uganda Bankers Association, who you regulate, said before us. Pretty much the same thing. But I just want to know, because when a general reading of the entire bill indicates that the attention is financial transactions, money getting into this country and being used allegedly for purposes that that may not appease the powers that be. Now, Financial Intelligence Authority, for my side, I think you do a really thorough job. I mean, you even block accounts with 2 million shillings. But maybe in the view of government, you're not doing a good job, because why would they want to share your mandate and create a small department that probably does not have the kind of expertise that you do? Because you're schooled in all these matters, you're up to date, you know the financial sectors the financial sector really in and out. Why would government want to share a part of your mandate with a small department in the Ministry of Internal Affairs that may not be as schooled as you are on these matters? When you look at the concerns, the general concerns in the bill, what can government do to achieve its intention? Because they seem like they want to tighten further financial inflows. What can they do? Is there any money that comes? I know you answered this, ED. You answered this, that you actually said there is no gap in government getting access to transactions at all. However, is there any money that can come into this country without your knowledge? Be it a wallet, on a phone, be it Bitcoin, is there any money that can get into the hands of Ugandans within Uganda without your knowledge? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Zuja.
How we shall be doing this? This law envisages paper certificates. People to go to the minister's office and sit there, say, you know, I'm remitting $100, or somebody is going to send me $100. So there is a big problem, but as you go back, I think you need to engage your minister. You should have raised this issue in the cabinet. Other than you people coming here to the public, and now you can see the sort of conversation we are having. Like government institutions seem not to agree. And that's quite ugly. Government institutions should be agreeing. So by the time you bring a bill to us in Parliament, you should have agreed as government departments, agencies. There must have been enough consultation. Chair, I think they have said it all.
Thank you, Honorable Katuntu.
And then the Financial Intelligence Authority, Mr. Were Samuel. I will start with the FIA, and my question is really short and brief. I want you to confirm to this committee if you have ever traced any amount of money that has come into Uganda and that money went into influencing, went into interference, went into threatening, went into misinforming, went into political engagements, went into recruitment as listed under the bill in 2.2. And if that money came, what actions did you take as the Financial Intelligence Authority, having traced that amount in the various parameters listed by government? I want you to tell us if that has ever happened. Now, to Bank of Uganda, you are independent in your operations. My understanding also is that you should not be influenced unduly by different pressures because of the central role you play as a bank. under Section 4 of the Bank of Uganda Act, it may have changed, but one of your cardinal roles is to advise the government on monetary policies. My question is, did you get opportunity to advise government on the monetary implications of this shift regarding this bill? In other words, how have you interacted with the executive, particularly touching what you have presented to us, and how did they, if that opportunity was there, what feedback did you get from the executive? The second issue is the bill's attempts to regulate, I think, money supply, as you have stated. I think that's the core. They want to regulate. Now, this is also under the Act, a sole or a core responsibility of Bank of Uganda to regulate monetary supply. So in this bill, the government is attempting to designate a department responsible for those inflows. If I am persuaded by the need for government to do that, and since Bank of Uganda is the regulator of money supply, wouldn't it have been appropriate that Bank of Uganda is the one designated to now regulate the monetary supplies in case the government was worried? Wouldn't it be rather than a minister? And I'm saying this because unlike fiscal policies, which are influenced by politics, taxations and etc., my understanding is that monetary policies are purely technical matters that should not even come under the purview of any politician. Now, a minister of internal affairs, and I have prepared the list of all the ministers, I also know their qualifications. I also know that a minister can be anyone from senior 6 or an equivalent in this country. I've also seen what it takes to become a governor of a Bank of Uganda. There is a stark contrast in terms of competencies. So would a minister of internal affairs have the capacity to, first of all, even understand the implications of some of the decisions they are going to take in this matter? And why would, if this bill is passed, wouldn't we be bringing the exclusive duty of Bank of Uganda to handle monetary policies under now the political wing, so that the politicians are now the ones deciding on that matter? The third, and perhaps the last, if this bill is passed, is actually the third one. Under Section 4, again, Bank of Uganda, you are supposed to be the agent of the government in financial transactions. Bank of Uganda is the agent. It means also now Bank of Uganda must also go and register to be the agent of the foreigners to transact on behalf of government. That's what it means, because under the law, Bank of Uganda can be an agent on financial transaction on behalf of government, and you are going to transact with foreigners. So it means also Bank of Uganda before must first also register as an agent of a foreigner. But to conclude, I want to ask you, are you ready as Bank of Uganda to make major policy shifts which will address the issues you have presented to us? Balance of payment likely to go into deficit, the reserves may be depleted, interest rates may rise, exchange rates, our currency is going to get weakened, the capital flight, all those that you have. Are you as Bank of Uganda ready that once this bill is signed, like tomorrow, you have already processed it and you are going to make major monetary policy reforms so that the economy does not collapse? Thank you.
Honorable Jonathan Odul, a good listener.
Executive Director of FIA. Mine goes to FIA on page 4, where I said that I know the threshold of money coming in has been 20 million. I don't know that you have the capacity. Suppose I bring that money in one day, but in different pieces. I bank 10, then I bank 5, I bank. Do you have the capacity to trace it in one day?
Good. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. One, I want to thank Bank of Uganda. I want to thank the Governor for the brevity and boldness and the good work you're doing at Bank of Uganda since you took over. Two, FIA. You've talked about this mechanism proposed by the bill replaces financial intelligence model with this executive preclearance. You also said there is no gap in terms of government getting information about transactions. You also said AMRA is sufficient. You said the bill breaches confidentiality clauses and whatever I talked about. So the question is just simple. What should Parliament do with this bill?
Okay, Honorable Warnitwe.
Now, offshore investments, the pressure on our currency, the running down of our reserves, the effect on the balance of payments, the substantial depreciation on our currency, and the effect on Uganda in as far as global payment systems are concerned. And I think that passing this law would be the greatest gift to the enemies of this country.
You mean in its current form?
That the bill passing, our enemies would not need to do anything. Actually, our enemies need to fund this bill. They need to put effort in making us pass it in the way that it is. I think that whoever thought of it and drafted it is really the threat to our sovereignty. Thank you so much.
Okay, Honorable Fox-Odoi.
Paragraph number 1, microfinancial vulnerability and the balance of payments. You submit, just for purposes of record, that the potential to destabilize Uganda's balance of payment is a primary concern as it affects cross-border transactions. And you state that in the financial year 2024-2025, the overall balance of payment surplus of US dollars 1.5 billion was driven by financial account surplus of 4.6 billion, which included FDI 3.4 and portfolio investments of 2.1. Governor, we have been told that we are now adolescents. We have grown. We are no longer little kids. Among the Luo, when you develop beards, you walk to your father and tell him, my genitalia can now feel my hands. I need my own piece of land to set up camp. I need my independence. So the government of Uganda is saying that starting 2027, the month of July 2027, we shall be getting financial inflows from our first oil. And that revenue will be sufficient to allay your fears. Have you also ever had such rumor? Have you ever had discussions with the government of Uganda, and do you have projections on how much we are going to earn from our resources in oil and gas? In which case, if it's true that we're going to get resources from oil and gas, your fears on balance of payment and destabilization of the economy do not arise. Otherwise, I thank you very much for this wonderful submission.
Thank you, Honorable Fox.